Back from Washington, D.C. and joining us live on set tonight is Republican House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy.
And welcome, Congressman.
Thanks for having me.
Well, there are a number of issues we can delve into, and one in particular is ISIS, and you led a congressional delegation in December to the Middle East regarding ISIS. What is the possibility now that we could possibly see troops on the ground there in the Middle East in the near future?
Well, they're a great threat for us, and that's why I went United Arab, I went to Saudi Arabia, went to Doha, I went to Baghdad, I went to Erbil, right, actually where you saw fighting taking place. I wasn't in it by far, but in the region far away. They're a growing threat for us. I think you're going to have a combination. We have a train and equip going forward right now, but I don't know if that's going to solve all the problem. The world is very unsafe. My biggest fear is not even ISIS. My biggest fear is what happens with Iran. If Iran is allowed to have a nuclear weapon, this world will not be the same.
Well, we're speaking about Iran, and last week Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made an impassioned speech before Congress. At least 50 Democrats boycotted that speech. Do you think that was conducive to progress, or how did your party feel about that?
I think that was very wrong, and I think it was wrong of how the president handled it, and even Susan Rice saying it was wrong. Here is one of our greatest allies and our friends. We should treat our friends well and not our enemies. And I see before us not only just a threat to America, but to Israel, to the world, what's going on with these negotiations. And so you had the Prime Minister of Israel come before us and talk about what the threat is. Talk about what's right and what's wrong. Talk about where democracy works. And think about what's happened. This administration has said Yemen is the place to show how their foreign policy works. Well, you know what? That has collapsed and been overthrown. And who's been behind it? Iran. Look what's happened in Libya, that they fell back. Who's filling that void? ISIS. Iran has come and filled the void in Iraq as well, because this administration wanted to pull out too soon. And then you saw ISIS come in and Iran. When America does not lead, the world becomes unsafe. And unfortunately, where we are in the world today, you're finding this becoming a bigger and bigger problem. That's why we need a foreign policy that everybody understands, and not one that changes by the day.
That was followed up by that letter by 47 Republican leaders warning Iran about that deal made with the president. Do you think they undermined the president there? Do you agree with that letter that was sent?
There's nothing in that letter that I would disagree with by what was written, because that is a major threat to this world. Maybe they could have sent it to the president, but what's going before us, the only reason Iran is at the negotiating table is because the House and the Senate passed sanctions against Iran. That letter could actually strengthen the president's hand to get an agreement. Iran should seriously think about it. In this agreement, the president is now talking about allowing Iran to get a nuclear weapon after 10 years. Well, that's unacceptable. What are our ages of our children? What's the world going to look like? So playing a strong hand against Iran, I think, can get us a better agreement, just as the Prime Minister of Israel said as well. I think that can strengthen the president's hand if he plays it right.
Well, let's look ahead to 2016 in the presidential race. Something that could be affecting that is this email scandal with Hillary Clinton. She just went on national TV and said it was a matter of convenience, that she would rather use one device rather than two devices for two email accounts. It was all very technical. What would be your reaction to that? Do you buy it?
I don't buy it, and this isn't the only scandal the Clintons will have as you go through. When someone goes and uses a personal account, they set up either with Gmail and Yahoo. No, she set up her very own server, so she controlled everything. And it wasn't just her, it was her aides as well. She wanted to control what went forward. Now, I don't want any of her private email accounts, but what transpired as a Secretary of State, that is their rules and their laws about going through. You don't want someone breaking them. Knowing what happened in Benghazi, knowing she said that we should have this new start with Russia and what's transpired. I think that this administration said they want to be the most transparent. This is not the case. And then knowing that the president had emailed with her as well. There's so many other questions. She said a lot of private emails, emailing with her husband Bill, then Bill says he doesn't email. I just think you should be a little more transparent about this and answer the American public. They'll have many more questions.
All right. Congressman McCarthy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.